ask yourself, as I have many times, okay, I realize now that my thoughts are off base, my emotions are out of kilter, but how do I get back on track? How do I get back to the present, or otherwise find inner peace? One of the most helpful things I've found has to do with using our five senses. Let's review those for a minute. We have our hearing, our sight, smell, taste, and touch. I think you would agree with me that those are gifts. And if we had less of one or were without one or more of those, we would miss them greatly. Little children are little sensing devices, always wanting to taste, touch, see, hear, just living life fully. As we get older, we tend to become overly accustomed to things going on around us. Our senses are still being impacted, but we're paying less attention to them, to our detriment, actually. Let me illustrate that, if I could, through an object lesson. A number of years ago, I stopped to get a quick bite to eat at a fast food restaurant during the middle of a workday. While I unwrapped my sandwich, I began to think about the next tasks of that day. A few minutes later, I looked down and there was an empty wrapper on my table. Looked around, no burger, onions on my breath. What had happened? I had missed it. By thinking about other things, I had missed my lunch, even though I had eaten it. Fritz Perls, a famous psychologist, once said something along the lines of, "Unfortunately, most people never show up for their lives while it's being lived." I recognize that I have missed much of my life by not fully showing up. How could I have used all five of my senses on that burger? If I would have allowed myself to let my thoughts drift away and focus, use my senses on that burger, I could have seen the various colors, taken time to smell it, felt the texture of the bun and the texture of things in my mouth, of course, tasted the various things, heard the crackling of the paper or the crunchiness of the lettuce. And I'd like to suggest to you that 5 minutes later, after using all of my senses, I would have been a better man. It's as if when we use our senses, we're bringing fresh water into a stagnant pond. It clears our thoughts, helps calm us. But here's the exciting part. When we use our five senses more, we get a bonus. We get a sixth sense. The sixth sense is often referred to as things such as insight, intuition, inspiration. They all start with the word in. Those are inside of us, waiting to come out. But until we clean our windshield, so to speak, with the freshness of our sensory experiences, they're locked in there and constricted. But as we open them up, we start having insights, inspiration, intuition from the inside out, which are those things that as we capture them and act upon them, can really guide us and help us find greater success and joy.